Hiya, my name's Charlie and welcome to my channel and welcome to my weekly reads. So how are you guys? What did you guys get up to this week? Have you had a good week? Let me know in the comments below. Like I thought it would be, this week has been kind of a little bit of a slower reading week because we're sort of getting back to normality in this household. I completed, in terms of reading, I've completed 5 books, which does sound like a lot, but 3 of those I had already started last weekend and they're all very short. And even the ones like the other 2 I completed were very short. So yeah. So I will quickly go over, in case you missed last week's one and the books. I've finished Don't Cry For Me by Daniel Black. It was a book 2 favourite from last year and I feel like it's still going to be a book 2 favourite this year. It's a black father writing to his queer son on his deathbed, basically writing these letters, and it's kind of an imagined thing of what he would have said. And it's yeah, it's very, very hard hitting. It's just beautifully done, and yeah, it's very emotional. And it, like I think I said it in last week's, it kind of, as I was listening to it, it just felt very real to me. It felt like, yeah, so I highly recommend the audiobook, and obviously I'm sure the physical book is just as good. So yeah, 5 stars. It was amazing, and it was a great start to like my reading week. I also finished Moonstruck, which is another, like, is a queer graphic like novel, not novel, it's like a graphic comic because it's very, very short. It's like about 120 pages or something. And in this we follow, it's sort of it's set in a magical universe where there's werewolves and other like centaurs and other magical creatures, and the lead character in this is a werewolf, and it's her sort of love story, and also there's an adventure within these pages, and I don't want to spoil it more than that, but it was really, really fun. I think there are other ones, I'm fairly certain there are other ones I can get to, other volumes, and I'm definitely going to do that if I can get them on script. So or maybe I could wait and treat myself in the future. Yeah. The third one I completed that I started last week was Saltwater by Jessica Andrews. But in this book we follow Lucy, who is growing up in the north of England. The thing about this book is that I feel like with Jessica Andrews books, it's never really about the plot per se. That's not the thing that grabs me the most. It's always the language and her just writing style, and I just, every single sentence I just feel like it just flows like butter. It's just gorgeous. Like, it's just, I just love her writing so much. This book is from Angie's Book Chatter, and Scott from Gunpowder Fiction and Plot is like, it's one of their favourite books, and I can see why. There are quite a few like 90s references. Mentally, as I was reading this book, I was kind of compiling like a soundtrack. So many great artists and like songs are like mentioned within this, and I feel like this could be like a good, like it could be a good film, like a good movie, like that kind of thing. Like I can't wait for Jessica Andrews to bring her next book out. I don't feel like I've got lots to say about the plot or the characterization, but it's a brilliant read. Like 100% is a brilliant read. And do any of you like come up with like soundtracks as you're reading books? Tell me that. That is something I'd want to know. Right, so after I finished Saltwater, I read Happily Ever After by Debbie Tung. This was on another Scribd book. I have got 2 of Debbie Tung's books behind me, which I'll put images of on screen, that I've read and loved. She's also come out with a new one that just came out. It was one of my anticipated releases last year, which I haven't actually got to yet, and I can't remember the name of it. Again, I'll put it on screen. So yeah, this is the 3rd in her sort of series, and this one just talks about her relationship with her husband, and it's very cute. It's quite short again, and it was just a lovely fun read. It's not like my favourite, but if you read the first 2 and you enjoyed them, you'll probably like the 3rd one, I'm guessing. So yeah, that's that one. Then I read, I needed to pick a prompt for, because I'm currently taking part in the Past and Future Readathon, and one of the prompts is for a book like written or something before you're born. Like, I think that's one of the prompts. And so I needed to read a book. I was originally planning on reading Scapegoat with Berna, but we've switched it to a different read, which I'll talk about in a minute. So I needed to pick a different book because I DNF'd Scapegoat. So instead I picked Orlando by Virginia Woolf. And loads of people, this is another one, loads of people talk about. It's a classic, and I adored this book. Like, I seriously love this book. I'm not entirely sure that I understand every like nuanced part of it, but again, it's one I was like highlighted, like taking loads of pictures of the quotes and taking quotes for, and like just devouring and enjoying like so much of this. Orlando, in case you don't know, I'll give you a brief summary of the plot because everyone just assumes people know all the classics, and sometimes not. We don't all know all the classics. It starts in the Elizabethan era. So we start in like the Elizabethan era, which don't tell me what year that is because I can't remember. I'd have to Google it. And then Orlando is born a boy, and then at some point in their life, which I won't tell you when because I really enjoyed that part of it. The bit where they chained was like, the way it was written was just gorgeous, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, at some point they transition into a female body, and this book obviously talks about gender and queerness, and it's just full of so many wonderful things. And can I like, should I say some of the bits that I just like loved off the page? Because so many people talk about this book, and I have never heard like these little bits that I loved. Like, I've never heard anyone talk about. So the bits that I really enjoyed was when so Orlando has awoken, like I said, from her slumber, and everyone else is kind of like confused and they don't know what the fuck's going on. And one of the bits I loved was Orlando's dogs. Right, so I'm going to read you a quote. Dogs would have been enough to dispel it, for the dumb creatures, as it is well known, are far better judges of both identity and character than we are. But yeah, the dogs knew straight away that it was Orlando. There was no messing around with them. They were like all over Orlando, and they 100% knew who Orlando was. Whilst everyone else is flapping around like trying to like help Orlando. I guess help. I'm going to say help like this because I don't know whether they really were helping. They were just flapping. The dogs straight away knew exactly what was going on, and I just loved that bit so much. Yeah, it's the kind of person I am. I just really enjoyed it. Like, there's parts of this because this book, the way that it moves through time, it really it was like, I was reading it and I was thinking, this is really unsettling me. And then I read a section that said Orlando recognises that about how time is passing, and she says, time has passed over me. So it's like she knows, like, it's really it's sort of unsettling for her too. So she lives for centuries, and the book finishes in 1928, I believe. It's a delight. If you haven't read Orlando, please read it. It's amazing. I messaged Charlie because I was like, oh Charlie, this is such a new book. I'm hoping Charlie will enjoy this. But yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and this is like, I think this is like the fifth, or this is like my final main Virginia Woolf. I know she's got like a couple of other ones that I haven't read, but I think I've read the bulk of her popular fiction, as it were. So yeah, that was that one. Now on to the books that I'm currently reading, one of which I'm hoping to finish today. Well, no, not today, tomorrow, or today or tomorrow. We're planning on finishing it tomorrow. And this is a book I'm buddy reading with the gorgeous Berna from Berna's Bookish Adventures. I love buddy reading with Berna. We have so much fun when we're like commenting back and forth to each other, and she's just an utter delight. Go check out Berna's channel. She's just gorgeous. So we are reading Tomorrow I Become a Woman, Aiwanose Odafen. So in this, we Uju has two potential suitors, and at the like sort of the beginning-ish of the book, and one of them is her childhood sweetheart, who is basically everything that her mother kind of dislikes in a guy. And then there's another person who is on paper like the perfect like person, who is Gozi, and Gozi kind of reminds her mother of like her uncle, who was like who's a guy that this book is set in the time of the Biafra War. So her uncle has gone off to war and is missing. So Gozi kind of reminds the mother of this beloved uncle, and so I think she puts a lot of stock thinking that Gozi will be the perfect husband for Uju, but unfortunately that is not the case. So this book obviously talks a lot about mother-daughter relationships and the complicated dynamics of that and the struggle, and so their relationship is very, very fraught. The relationship between Gozi and Uju is very Gozi is extremely violent, so it's really, really hard hitting. This book is really, really hard hitting, and she goes to her mother to sort of like seek comfort, and her mother is very traditional. And again, another part of this book is it talks about the like societal and cultural expectations set upon these women, and yeah, it's really hard hitting. It's a really, really well written book, and it's so beautiful, and there's so much to unpack within these pages, but it is full of trigger warnings, and it's an extremely difficult listen, being honest. But that being said, I'm really enjoying the buddy read of it. We're coming to, like I said, the last bit of it now, and hopefully we'll finish it today. So, or don't, hopefully we'll finish it today or tomorrow. So yeah, yeah. Thank you, Benna, for buddy reading with me. Right, so another book I am currently, I'll list quickly the books I'm reading. The Seven Moons of Mali Almeida by Shihan Karanapalaka. This is one I've talked about a lot. I'm just listening to it. It's come up on BorrowBox. I've never listened to the audiobook. As soon as the audiobook became available on my library app, I reserved it straight away because I love this book. It was in my favourites. You guys know all about it. I'll refer you to my favourites if you want to know. If you want to know, really know if you've missed out on it, I'll refer you to my favourites. So then I'll talk to you quickly about books I've got on my bookish horizons. So today I want to start, because I've been listening, as you could tell, to like really hard hitting kind of some uncomfortable reads. I want to head to Sunny by Sukh Ojla. This Sukh Ojla is a comedian. I talked about this in my book haul, and this is like a woman's contemporary, and it's a 30-year-old woman living with her like parents, I believe, and she's sort of like struggling with like who she is at home versus who she is when she sort of goes out and socializes. I think that's it. But I know this will be a really great listen. Hopefully, if I can just like, if I have any time today, between like having time with my family, etc., or over the weekend, I'm hoping I will get time to flip between these pages, because I feel like this will be the hug of a book that I just need. So yeah. And then also I'm due to start this week is the winter mixtape. So I'm doing a whole TBR for that, which I'm going to put on, like, I'm going to do a YouTube short, which I will link in the description below. So yeah, let me know what you guys have been reading. Let me know how you all are. So yeah, have you also, like, because it's the end, I can prattle a bit. Have you guys watched this week's Drag Race yet? We watched it, and Sasha Colby, she is the queen. She shone like we knew that she would. That is my thoughts on like that. Oh, I know what else. I know what else I was going to tell you. I've been watching some Miss Marple this week on the telly. I've got BritBox, and I've been watching the Geraldine McEwen, I think it is, her episodes versions of Miss Marple. So I thought if I watched it, then I will be able to watch it, have a good idea of the plot, then get into the audiobooks, because for ages I keep telling everyone I want to listen to some Marple, I need to read some Marple. So I thought if I get familiar kind of ish with the stories through that way, maybe that will help me. Maybe that's not wise, but tell me. Yeah, so hopefully that will encourage me to pick up the first book in the Marple series. Yeah. Anyway, so thank you guys for watching. Like I said, take care and sending you lots of love. Goodbye.